Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, good afternoon. We are joining you today with Resisting Narratives of Pobreteando through art, dance, and writing. And I'm here with two artists, writers, and I'll be saying a few words in Spanish here and there. This conference, this panel, was proposed and organized by all of us for the NACCS, National Association for Chicana and Chicano Studies virtual conference from April 14th to April 16th. I am introducing this panel, and my name is Gabriella Gutiérrez y Muhs. I'm a professor of modern languages and women and gender and sexuality studies at Seattle University. Las artes son nuestro mejor alimento. Arts are our most nourishing food. For each of us, Graciela Vega-Cendejas, Veronica Eldredge, and myself, we have done so many things and produced so many things during COVID that we thought we'd want to share this with you. We are teachers, scholars, activists, artists, and art has opened many windows for us and given us much joy, especially during COVID. That we wanted to share this with you. I always like to say, and I will introduce the artist in a second, that the world and art and everything we do is like a record. It replays again and again in our lives. So I'll talk about Veronica Eldredge first. She works at the Mexican Heritage Plaza doing administrative work and in charge of the food. They have a major food distribution every couple of weeks, so she can talk more about that. She's a Swedish American visual artist, cultural worker, and she has been working on the covers of my books for many years now. Both her and Graciela, these two wonderful women, have worked on the covers of my books. I met Graciela when she was 13 years old and at Watsonville High School. I was one of her counselors. I want to say a little bit more about Veronica. She was born and raised in Tamien, which is the Mucuipa place name of San Jose, California, land of apricot orchards and microchip factories. Her work has appeared in Salinas at the National Steinbeck Center, in San Jose with All Women X Showcase, 3F Gallery, and in Silicon Valley, Debug Magazine. Various signs as well as conferences in the US, Europe, and Mexico. She's a 2016 graduate of the Humanities, Visual Arts, and Women and Gender Studies at Seattle University, and has been a regular collaborator of with different artists in California as well as in Seattle. Currently, she's illustrating children's books, including the forthcoming Ivan, which she will present today, and Un Poema Ilustrado, that's what it is. And she would like, she's gonna be here talking about her work, so I don't need to do that. But it is featured in some of my books, Word Images, New Perspectives on Canicula, and other works. And I think you can read her bio in the program. She participates in Día de Muertos, celebrations yearly and recently exhibited her work in Watsonville at the Pájaro Valley Gallery. The other presenter is Graciela Vega-Cendejas. She's a teacher, she's a seasoned teacher and a trainer of teachers, a master teacher. And what she did is something very beautiful that during COVID, many of the children of Watsonville are now dancing with their parents at home thanks to her. She's an incredible teacher of folklorico. You will see that. And I've taught folklorico before, I've danced, but what she does, because she has incredible patience, is that she's an amazing instructor of folklorico on Zoom. I've never seen that before. On YouTube, you can find her videos. She has been featured in many newspapers. She's a very successful artist in the Central Coast and everywhere else. She was instrumental more than 30 years ago bringing Días de Muertos celebrations to Watsonville, to the Watsonville community. She is, well, she's one of the major lights of the Watsonville and Santa Cruz community. And her work, her poetry was selected to be published later this year by Polivea Press in an anthology that I am editing, Chicanx anthology. She's also going to be published by the San Diego State University Press in a women's a Chicana Latina anthology. I could speak for another hour about each of these people. Known them for so many years, and every time I look, they're even more remarkable. As you are looking at this, I had not seen this PowerPoint of the presentation, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And Veronica prepared this. And the art, some of the art is by Veronica and some of it is by Graciela. So I'm going to leave it at that because I think I spoke enough with introductions. I'll say one thing about me. I grew up as a migrant child. I'm from the Central Coast community of Watsonville, Santa Cruz, and I have lived in Seattle for the last 21 years. I'm a professor, a full professor at Seattle University in modern languages and women and gender and sexuality studies. And I'm a poet, and I read poetry and deliver keynote speeches and motivational speeches. There's a larger bio of me on the program, and also online you can find what I do. Gabriella Gutiérrez y Muhs. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know that this is a pleasure for me, and I know this is going to be a pleasure for all of you. Thank you very much. We will begin with Veronica reading her work, her Ivan children's story, and we will end with Graciela, and all three of us are going to read some poetry at the end. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So thank you so much for the introduction, Doctora Gabriela. My name is Veronica Eldredge. I am the illustrator for two of these children's books that were written by Gabriela. And so it's a huge privilege and honor to be here with you all and to share a little bit about the project that we have started since about 5 years ago. Because the first children's book is called Ivan. It's a bilingual adventure, and it follows the story of a young migrant from Mexico coming to the US as a farm worker. Because it's a bit longer, I'm just going to show some images and read a few of the beautiful words that Gabriela wrote into the story. And then I will share one of our other books, which is an illustrated poem. So here we go. Ivan lives in Hueyapan, Morelos, the Emiliano Zapata state, not the Zapato state. He grew up there all his life, playing with his cousins and friends, going to school and helping his family at the house. So what we really wanted with this project is to highlight a different version, a different narrative of the stories about Mexican immigrants and also about farm workers in the US. Gabriela does a wonderful job of showing the nuances and the many subjectivities, which is her term, about the identities that our communities have and share, and what they bring to the US and to our communities over here as well. And she also incorporates a lot of wonderful visuals that I really enjoy illustrating, and of course humor. Oops. So one of the lines that she has is that Ivan comes to Salinas, which is the salad bowl of the United States. And I love that image because it's the cradle of so much nourishment that comes and feeds the whole country or even many parts of the world. And the significance of farm workers in this area is that their hands are always touching what we consume or what we eat, from the lettuce in our salads to the tomatoes and strawberries, artichokes. So those are some of the things that I tried to highlight as well in my illustrations. This is another excerpt from the book. As he's traveling through along the West Coast, he notices the connections and interconnectivity between his homeland and the people and places that he witnesses on this side of the border. And so the excerpt is that this is Ivan. To him, mountains were goddesses that connected him to all of his dead ancestors. And because mountains hold hands, it is impossible to separate them from their sisters. Ivan didn't think that there could be one long wall that could realistically separate him from his human ancestors in the Northwest. So the text and the images are also dealing with the reality of the political devastation, you could say, that is happening in this country right now, and how we have to resist and fight against those narratives as well to change the reality through our art and through our writing. These are additional images from the book from the field in Watsonville, and then as he's returning to Mexico and reconnecting with ancestral foods, such as the many colored corns, maíz, that exist. So I wanted to share a project that I worked on during COVID. During the pandemic, I was part of a collective that created a free coloring book that anybody can download. It's called Free Them All. And especially with the political climate of so many thousands of migrants being detained and incarcerated in horrendous conditions, this was a way for us as artists to respond and to create something interactive for people in the midst of the pandemic, in the midst of sheltering in place, and also as a way for families to be able to talk about what is happening, what the reality of what is happening with their children or as a family, and as a way to do art as well. So these are two of my images from the coloring book, and I will also share a link for people to be able to download the book. Now I'm going to read, because it's shorter, the illustrated poem that's also written by Doctora Gabriella Gutiérrez y Muhs and illustrated by me. It's called Orange and Red, Anaranjado y Rojo. Mandarinas y rosas me dices, tangerines and roses you say, como si la vida empezara con anaranjado y rojo, as if life began with orange and red. No es la naranja en la palabra anaranjado que sorprende los sentidos. It is not the orange in the word anaranjado that surprises the senses, nor the red of birds, roses, or strawberries, ni el rojo de los pájaros, las rosas o las fresas, que susurra que el amor es abundante, that whispers that love is abundant. Es el rojo, es el anaranjado, it is the red, it is the orange. Es el olor a mandarinas y rosas que abraza nuestra esencia. It is the smell of tangerines and roses that embraces our essence. Es lo que los rojos, los amaneceres, los atardeceres y los corazones. It is what reds and sunrises, sunsets and hearts revelan en una mano de amor, bring out in a hand of love. Son los sabores los que cuentan. It is the taste that count. Los ruidos amorosos que hacen cuando explotan en tu boca. The love noises they make when they explode in your mouth. En efecto, la vida empieza en un bocado. Life does begin in a mouthful. And that is my presentation.
Bravo. Maravilloso, maravilloso. Tanto que decir, ¿verdad? Pero tendremos un momento para discutir al final y hablar sobre y hacer preguntas sobre este y otros proyectos. Graciela, ha hecho muchísimo en Watsonville, tantas exhibiciones. O sea, estábamos pensando el otro día, viendo fotos de cuando Rico era un bebé, when my son Rico was a little baby, and I was sitting him in his car seat in a corner to see her exhibit what she had organized at the Pájaro Valley Gallery. So that's 20 years ago, right? 21 years ago. And so, as you know, Bertolt Brecht said, right? Hay hombres que luchan un día y son buenos. Hay otros que luchan un año y son mejores. Pero hay los que luchan toda una vida. Y esos son los imprescindibles.
Mhm.
Those are the ones that we cannot live with. And I've seen Grace be an artist. We used to have a club, El Club de Poesía, I remember Grace, at Watsonville High School that she and I founded. And she had her job after school where she arranged flowers. So that's where she learned the details of flowers. And ever since she was 13, 14, I've been seeing her create poetry, images, love, nurture the entire community, be inclusive with many people that she's guided so that they become artists as well. And it's been really beautiful. It's been really beautiful to see her evolve. And we are going to see some more of her art at the end and her poetry. But what was really remarkable to me was this idea of doing ballet folklorico on Zoom. And I've watched many of her videos and enjoyed them and tried to dance. I used to dance folklorico, and it's made me very happy. And I think it's something that everybody can do with their children if you follow her on Facebook. So this is a mere introduction of what we can do. This whole idea came together. It's influenced by Eve Stuck's theory of suspending damage, where she talks about how communities of color don't want to be seen as the victims. And we are, as we said in our description, intending to provide these proactive possibilities, because actually there are these people doing this work out there. Graciela is out there, a teacher full-time, mother of two, doing all this work. Veronica as well in the center. Within their possibilities, they are making art, they're being inclusive. They're distributing food. They're including others in the distribution of food. They are giving. So these are the blooming flowers of our community that don't die. You know, they've been doing this work for a while. And that's why, with that notion of suspending damage, that we've talked about communities of color as victims, as victimizing themselves, and we also victimize them, and as pathological. And it's so important that we get rid of those pathologies and those ways. I work on subjectivity, as Veronica said, those ways of how we see people, those limited and limiting ways of how we see Latinos, Chicanos, immigrants. And this is what they really are, right? This is what we are. I'm also a child of farm workers, a farm working child myself. When I was little, an immigrant, a migrant, and this is what we do. So here is Graciela with her work, and then we're going to take some questions, read a couple of poems. Thank you. Graciela, you're up.
Thank you. So I have been working with this ballet folklorico project for 4 years. But recently, as the pandemic was brought on, I gathered with the director of the Watsonville Public Library that is in charge of programming, and we had a meeting. We had booked the library to offer a ballet folklorico series through the summer last year in 2020. But because of the pandemic, we weren't able to open it to the public. So forward, we made it so that we could continue to release classes through YouTube to the community. And so I would record, I would record the classes there and then release them to the community. Had we had it in person, there's a capacity to have 30 students, but because we have it through Zoom, initially we had 30 views, and then some of the classes have been viewed over 200 times. So it created, having it go into a virtual format created more access. And it was widespread because it was featured in KSPW as a community event. And the program began in May and ended in September. Then we had another program for Día de los Muertos, which when I was at the Claremont colleges, we had Día de los Muertos events. And then when I came here to Watsonville, Jose Ortiz, Salvador Muñoz, Nora Centeno worked together as a collective to begin Mi Casa es Tu Casa in Watsonville, and that was over 30 years ago. And so every year we had this event that started to grow and grow and grow. And so virtually, it's grown so that the library now has an ofrenda, a communal ofrenda that they put up. And Doctora Gutierrez was part of this program. Emmanuel Zúñiga from Purépero, Michoacán, provided artwork from photos of Páscuaro. And we had students, ballet folklorico dancers from Ballet Folklorico Lin that are also dancers with Alianza, be part of that program. And we shared that program. So when it initially started was that the students, so our program started with our students 5 years ago, asking to have a dance group. And so I said, yes, sure. Because one of the things that I found interesting when I was in elementary school, as Gabi mentioned that she danced ballet folklorico, was that I remember dancing La Raspa in 3rd grade and I think that's like that's like one of the first songs that they teach in Mexico that I spoke to Dr. Lupe, and she mentioned that she also, Dr. Lupe Rivas, she taught in the Bakersfield area in the 70s and 80s, and she said that La Raspa was one of the first songs that she would teach her students there in the Bakersfield area. So that's one of the songs that I start with the students. We also were featuring Michoacán. So last year when we were doing the Ballet Folklorico, we focused on 2 states, Michoacán and Jalisco, because Watsonville is a sister city to 2 cities in Mexico. And so understanding culture through dance, I think, is kinesthetic, and it provides access. It provides a way of looking at the world through movement and understanding why certain dance steps are done. So that's why we focused on Michoacan and Jalisco. And I have teachers that have been working with me from Mexico. Maestro Aldo Valenzuela and Maestra Lupita Figueroa from Maestro Aldo is from Pátzcuaro, Michoacán, and Maestra Lupita is from Zapotlán, Ciudad Guzmán, del Alto in Jalisco.
But also, I want to add, Gracie, that, and of course, I went to grammar school, high school. We were migrants. So I went to school in Mexico. That's where I learned folklorico.
Mm-hmm.
In Watsonville, there was nothing before for children. There was UC Santa Cruz dance troops, or another one that started in Watsonville, but there was nothing for children. So really,
Yeah.
yours is really the first one for children. What I wanted to say is that they have sister cities in Watsonville, because Watsonville is probably what, 60-70% Mexican now.
Yes. Yes.
And it most of the people from there are from Jalisco or Michoacan.
Yes.
So it's not gratuitous that it's just those two states. It's because the people in Watsonville, the immigrants that came, are in a majority from those states.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a large majority of people from Michoacan, from, braceros that
Mm-hmm.
were hired, and men that were brought forth in the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
During World War II.
Yes, during
That's
World War
when
II.
a lot of them came, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Many of them came, and so then in the 60s, when there was a possibility of immigrating families, many of those braceros that settled in the Watsonville or the Central Coast began coming to this area. And then you did have you had small groups, like in Penny Club, there was a little bit of ballet folklorico happening there with Father Rojas. And then in the 80s,
there wasn't much, though. It wasn't the same. It wasn't like you teaching them from school or from the library. The
mm-hmm.
summer program in at the Penny, I know because I was father's assistant. The summer program had folklorico, but
Mm-hmm.
it was not an ongoing thing. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm trying to give you a compliment here, but
No, thank you. Thank you. And so with this program, I'm also collaborating with another person in Castroville, and we are working. So the work that what I learned, the choreographies that I learned, I share with Chuyita Garcia, and then she also teaches her. So I, along with, prior to having the COVID, I taught ballet folklorico in Castroville, and we had a performance there. And I also taught folklorico at the Aromas Grange in Aromas, California, and both of these are rural. So so providing access to the communities. And so now in Castroville, it's ongoing as well. And I share the choreographies, the music, what I learned through the mentorship because of these maestros. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Vero, do we have images to go with the program so that I can share?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So, thanks. So I had prepared this. So as I mentioned, the program went all the way through November 15th, which was the Dia de los Muertos that was shared. And those were extension interviews with the maestros, poetry, and as well as interviews with local panaderos about the culture. So altogether with we've had over 3,000 views. Okay.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
And downloads, right? Because there's
Yes, so
also
people are downloading, people are,
download it to repeat it and so it's not just the views, it's the downloads as well.
yes, and people that have been subscribing. So I have 90 subscribers right now to the YouTube
Wow.
channel.
Mhm.
And I initially received a development grant with the council, with the Arts Council of Santa Cruz County, to work on myself as a dancer, as an artist. And now they've granted me another grant to create a wider program, a showcase of ballet folklorico this summer. And once again, I'll be bringing 3 maestros to work virtually. We would like for the maestros to share in presence, but we're not able to because of the health, just as a health precaution. So we'll continue to work virtually for now. Okay, I think there's another slide. So these are the 2 maestros you're seeing. Maestra Lupita, she's from, as I had mentioned, from Ciudad Guzman de Zapotlan, Jalisco. Her workshop focused Pasacalles en el Relámpago. I also received a grant with Maestro Jose Humberto Camacho, who's with the Activities for All. He's the director. And so we brought in this maestra, and she also shared another workshop on Colima, because we have immigrants from Colima as well. And so she shared with us a new choreography, and it's called Pueblito Mi Quesería. And it's a series of 4 choreographies, and we're the first group here in the United States to receive this choreography. Wow. La composición is by Hermanos Gaspar Osorio, and the mariachi that performs the song is Mariachi Santa Cecilia del Estado de Colima. They also have a YouTube. They have a Facebook page, so if you'd like to follow them, she also has a Facebook, Maestra Lupilu.
Are you gonna show us one of the videos? I really want to see one of the videos of you instructing, because that's really wonderful.
Oh, thank you. I do have at the end, we'll do the video for the Día de los Muertos. Maestro Aldo Valenzuela is a master dancer, as well as Maestra Lupita. And he shared with us the music of Orquesta Mitzia de Cherán. And these are the viejitos de Jaracuaro. And it's a very extensive workshop. And there's part 1 and part 2. Where you can learn, and where he goes and explains how every little town has their own version of la danza de los viejitos. So this is one of the first original ones. And I was fortunate enough to work with Maestro Patricio Atilano Lopez. He came to Watsonville 4 years ago and 3 years ago and provided a workshop for us on Michoacán, on la danza del pez. The pirecua flor de canela. So we can go to the next slide. And this is the video. You're seeing the photography by Emanuel Zúñiga of Pátzcuaro in Michoacán, Mexico. And this was from 2019. Maestra Maria Uribe and Graciela Vega, we are going to be performing in this video, where prior to teaching, and the video prior, I show how to dance Consuelito. Consuelito is a traditional pirecua. That is a song that is traditional in Michoacán. And this is the rebozo from Michoacán. And the only time the rebozo is used on the head in dancing is when it's a religious ceremony. Prior to that, the rebozo in Michoacán is used on the body, okay? And that's one of the things that he dispels in our workshop. So I think the video, do you have the video, Vero?
Yes.
I think it's there.
Vero has everything.
Let's see, it should.
Load. There it is. And one of the things that allows me to do this work is that it's under educational. I'm not profiting from these videos. This is educational to distribute the information. And so here we begin with the song and Maestro Patricio Atilano Lopez in the background singing.
And where are you, Gracie?
I'm sorry?
Where are you? Where are you performing?
This one is a grupo de ballet folklorico, our dancers, ballet
I
folklorico.
know, but where are you performing in Watsonville? Where?
In Watsonville at the public library.
Okay.
So this is in downtown Watsonville. When we were shooting this, the people that were in the plaza, they were so happy to see the dancing. So one of the things that's beautiful about the ballet folklorico is that it allows the people to remember whether they dance themselves or whether they saw someone in their family dance, or it makes this connection to the ancestors.
I love the masks. That's Kuriani. And who's the other one?
One of my students.
What's her name?
Roslyn. I'll say her first name.
Roslyn and Kuriani. Yes, only her first name. Can you?
And so they've been dancing.
Music? Can I hear the music?
I just turned it down because
Okay, I'll stop talking.
He was explaining something as well. So I'll turn it up and then.
So
something else, if you could mention, because I know you have a range of children that you've taught. So you would say they're up to what, 14 years, 16?
So we have students that are as young as 4 and 5 years old, and our oldest dancer was in her 70s. This is an interview for Día de los Muertos that is part of the program, and the owner of the store it goes forward and he talks about his memory of baking bread in Jalisco, Alfonso Gama of Gama Bakery. And you can come back to the video.
Los limones, tenía toronjos, tenía los cítricos. Contábamos la flor de esos árboles y ella la hervía y con eso preparaba la masa para el pan de muerto, que le ponía la mantequilla, el azúcar o todos los ingredientes. Pero eso en especial le daba un toque y un sabor bien bueno al pan de muerto. Y siempre para la celebración del pan de muerto siempre nos hacía 3 o 4 panes grandes de muerto con esa receta. Y es una receta que pues no se te olvida, es una receta de tradición que viene de familia en familia. Y desde que recuerdo tenemos esa receta en la familia.
Grace, was there another video of dancing that you wanted to show?
We could move to Dr. Gutierrez has her poetry in this video.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah, so this is the interview I conducted with her. Prior to this, you get to hear Patricio Atilano Lopez with the and the photography of Emmanuel. And then if you move forward, you can see the poetry for Día de los Muertos with Dr. Gutierrez.
Okay. Did you want to play that right now?
We could, and then show the dancing, or we could go to number 26, minute 26. There we go.
Maybe we'll do that, and then
We'll come back.
We can move into the poetry workshop.
So we're wearing the traditional braids. Those are the braids that are made by a woman from Carapan, and may she rest in peace. She passed away already. Passed away a year ago. But those are traditional dress for the Purepecha region. Every town has a different way of dressing. The purple one is has cross stitch on it, and then the skirts underneath are called rollos, and traditionally they've been made out of wool, and they were used as blankets. Used as blankets. So we go through and we explain how to dance consuelito. We perform consuelito and then flor de canela, which is the pirecua. And so we were using the mask because of the pandemic, because we were holding
Yes,
our distance.
I like to see that, both you and the young girls dancing with the masks. Sí se puede.
Yeah, so, and the masks are embroidered, so.
I remember your videos for beginning students.
Mm-hmm.
And I urge people, I don't know, how much time do we have? Half an hour, 20 minutes?
I think we started around 4:30, so.
Wow.
But we can include this video link so that people can click on it and see the full thing, because it is really beautiful.
It is. I love to see you dancing, Gracie.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. And I'm continuing to study. Right now, I'm continuing to study with Maestra Lupita Figueroa, and I'm studying the region of Yucatan and Nayarit.
Because we have so much, there's so much richness. And this is the perfect time. It's like you never finish. I was a dancer for many years with Mexicas and also with the Los Angeles group. And you never finish studying because there's so much detail with the outfits, with culture, with the songs. I mean, there's so many things, and the steps. There's so much that it's compiled. Okay, so
so thank you for letting me share. There's so much more, but that's a good segue for the poetry.
well, maybe you could start by reading your poems, you and Vero, and then I'll go at the end and try to lead people into writing their own. Okay, fantastic, Grace, fantastic as usual. And I wish we had 5 hours so that NACCS and everybody else could benefit. Both of you are, of course, my inspiration, and I'm very happy to be here and be watching you do your work, wonderful work. Okay, so Grace, you're going to read. Can we go back to the initial slide that is really beautiful about the title?
So here you were talking about the ages. So
yeah, that one before.
Yeah, the one before. So
The ages.
we have 2 officers in the background, but this was taken 4 years ago for the 4th of July. So 4th of July, we danced and we paraded.
We celebrate by dancing folklorico. That's
by
great.
dancing folklorico, and it was the 4th of July, and we were dancing Juan Colorado with the tambora all throughout down Main Street.
Juan Colorado was a real rebel.
And here she's in her 3rd age, and she was a dancer in Mexico, so she brought her granddaughter, and she was dancing with the Ballet Folklorico group. So And we've had over 200 students participate in both part of Alianza, the after school program, in the classes, and in the community.
So senior citizens are not excluded.
Yes, all ages, all abilities are
Wonderful, wonderful,
participate.
wonderful. Such a good part of the Chicano movement, inclusion, right? Some of the good politics.
And
Okay,
so we're gonna put the art, and then I'll read a poem. So these are some pieces that I created for Dia de los Muertos, and we can go to the next one. And another, yeah, we can just go through, and we can do this one for this poem.
I have this one.
So this is Lunch Under the Oak Trees. Oaks, give me shade again, Ricardo whispered. Mustard seeds grew yellow as the field rests. The twin hawks dance in circles, the horses neigh. Songbirds send messages of joy. Weary boots hold solid feet and brawn arms. The wind caresses our campesino brothers and sisters as they take a break. An acorn seed lays on the ground, ready to be picked up and taken elsewhere. Ricardo and seed become one, traveling to the next cosecha. And I paint, this inspired a mother that was pushing her baby cart through the country road along the mountains in Watsonville. And she had to travel several miles to catch the next bus. So
Wow. Yeah.
that's one of the things that I think about, you know, the perseverance, but also creating access for our campesinos.
I love the painting that the mother and the father, and then the baby is of a, this is colorism, right? The baby is of a color in between them. I love the eye of the painter. The detail, I love it.
Oh. Well, you know, sometimes babies end up looking like a great grandfather or a great grandmother, you know, and you say, okay, my baby, you know, resembles one of the great grandparents. Okay. And the next poem, Toyota, take me away to my hometown. Little truck, you have carried over 300 loads of recycled cans in 5 years, cleaning up lawns, removing waste, lovely things nobody wants, taking loads of broken furniture, sun-kissed chairs, mouse-eaten particle board furniture, empty homes of renters who couldn't pay the last day. Toyotita, one more day, hold on for me, Tomasita. Martina's moving yard waste open for business. Martina crossed Highway 101 to 46, Highway 5 connecting to the 10, heading to Laredo, Monterrey, Guanajuato, Michoacan, memories in Toyota's engine lined up. And that concludes my poem. Thank you. And we can go to the next one. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Grace. And this
That one is going to be featured at the John Steinbeck as part of the Steinbeck's Mexico. This is Tlaloc and his children. And with the ajolotes, that if you cut off a part, they regrow. So anyways.
My mom's dolls, the ajolotes. Thank you. That's beautiful. I love this one. Vero, your poetry?
Okay, I will read one poem. It's inspired from a trip that I was able to go on with you, Doctora, when we were at the airport in Mexico City. And it's called Nada te turbe. May nothing faze you in a brave and brutal moment. May your tears carry you downstream, away from your pain. In our shared language, truth is told through our eyes to reassure you we care. Don't worry, love. The colors of your spirit will return you, restoring life, rekindling you, full and flourishing, unshattering you in slow motion, absorbing your fear, evaporating shame, unspilling you, whole. To us, a glass of orange juice is a vessel of gratitude that is always half full at our table, where there is also room for your love.
We met this woman. She was one of the waitresses, and she just wanted love. She wanted us to advise her, and she said, "Thank you for treating me like a human being."
Mm-hmm.
And turns out she had an awful story. Yeah. But we gave her gifts, whatever we had. I don't remember what we gave her, but yeah, that was a beautiful meal at the, it was just cafe, I think, that we drank.
Mm-hmm.
But it was beautiful. But Nada Te Turbe, I think that was the poem I showed you that day. That's Santa Teresa de Avila, or Santa Teresa de Jesus, that has this beautiful, may nothing disturb you. And I love the way you made it, you changed it and made it so much bigger and more beautiful. Because it's true, so many times we let little things bother us, right? That are not important. Mm-hmm. And oh, I love these. Wow. So I just wanna direct people who will watch this, and my favorite poem ever is Not to Be Modeled by Bernice Zamora. And why do I love it so much? Because it is so short. It's only 4 lines. You insult me when you say I'm schizophrenic. My divisions are infinite. And it says so much. You know, the collection Infinite Divisions, the anthology begins with that poem. I have a poem called Huaraches. And in parentheses, it's Huarache souls. And I'm talking about not the soles of the shoes, not the fish, but the souls, right? And it's also very short, like Bernice Zamora's poem. They had no boots, no straps, no wish to pull them up. Life has tires. It is horizontal. So I want to give you a prompt, and maybe the 2 of you poetas can do a poem with that. Let me see.
I have my paper.
Okay, perfecto. Mm-hmm.
Muy bien.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm ready with pencil and paper.
It's just a couple of words that I'm going to give you, and then you go from there. So I hope the audience is ready. Immigrants, water, our languages. And then the second line is, I don't know why the birds disappeared. Immigrants, water, our languages. I don't know why the birds disappeared. And you can take those, or you can leave them and do something else. It's important to write positive things, right? So, I mean, I'm not telling you what to write, but I'm just saying that for me during COVID, I usually come up And myself, I create a prompt that is going to make me bring out something beautiful out of me, because I believe we all have these beautiful threads, right? We just have to find them. Like spiders, we have this thread that, you know, we leave behind as we weave the people that we want in our lives, as we weave them into our lives.
Mm-hmm.
We have these threads. And so you could start the prompt of spiders have threads, I have.
Hmm.
I wrote my mini poem already. You have two minutes to finish yours. Okay. Does anyone want to share, finish up your thoughts? I can't find you. I don't know where you went. Where my Zoom went.
I'm still here.
I'm still here too.
We're writing.
Mhm.
I'm right here.
Two lines, so
I went ahead and started a poem.
Okay.
I'll begin. Immigrants' waters, our languages traveling in our heart, transporting energy through our spines. Immigrants' waters crossing the Atlantic, arriving in Veracruz, the Caribbean, and Florida, creating new rhythms, new sound, new lyrics, beat, ratata. I don't know why the birds disappeared. They followed Esteban across to bid hello and farewell. Allí paré, I ran out of time.
Oh, it is so wonderful.
mm-hmm.
I want you to read it again afterwards. I'm trying to find you because I can hear you, but I can't see you anymore. It's really interesting. This is what happened to me before as well. Okay, so can you read yours, Veronica, and then I'll read mine.
Okay. I don't know why the birds disappeared. They came to my garden to sing. because I missed you. They came to greet me and sing. And then I have spiders have threads. I weave you into my life, a web of love. I can unstick you should need be. And then I drew, I don't know if you can see it, but at first I drew a picture because sometimes the image comes visually and not in words. So.
I want to see the picture again.
Can you see it? I don't know if you see me.
I can't
Oh,
see anything.
yeah.
I can't see anything, so I'll have to see it later. I launched the same, it was the same Zoom that you sent us, huh, Veronica?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I need to be accepted. Would that be possible?
No, I think it might be the screen. If you click down at the bottom, Gabi, I think that if you click on that's happened to me in the past. If you click on your Zoom, it should bring it forward.
Okay, but was there anything else?
That was all I have right now.
It's wonderful, Vero. It's really wonderful. Can you read yours again until I find you? Okay, there it is.
Go ahead, Vero.
Go ahead. No, I heard Vero, so I wanted to hear yours because it's a lot longer. Remember, I asked you if you could read it again.
Sure. Immigrants' waters are languages, traveling in our heart, transporting energy through our spines. Immigrants' waters crossing the Atlantic, arriving in Veracruz, the Caribbean, and Florida, creating new rhythms, new sounds, new lyrics. Beat, ratata. I don't know why the birds disappeared. They followed Esteban across to bid hello and farewell.
I just met a dragon that is named Esteban.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I was laughing. One of Eric's children has a real dragon, yellow and green, that is named Esteban. Ay, ay, ay. Bueno, muchas gracias. I'll read you mine. Spiders have threads. I have muscles that write divinities into being, meals into walking, souls into sneezing evil away.
That's wonderful.
I love our work. At least we got to create some poems, right?
Yeah.
And I think that we should get into this regular, like this should be also a regular thing that we do. Sumear workshops, right? Well,
we can because I think maybe we can post this on YouTube. We can open the comments, and if anybody wants to add their poetry, their lines of poetry, they could write it in the comments as well.
Perfect. Thank you both for all your work. And,
thank you, Doctora.
Yeah, this was good, and we did it. And NACCS needs to get its technology straightened out. Thank you very much. Love you both. Take care, and let's keep doing things that matter.